Although I trained as a fine artist, I'm too down to earth to be an artist, really. I'm way too practical. That's part of being a maker, isn't it? Is solving problems. It's exciting because its potential is boundless from what I can see and what I have seen. For me to become like a sculptor as opposed to a 2D artist, I didn't know that I had that in me. Wool has brought that out of me, as it were. I actually went on a course locally that was advertised. I'd never really had access to or come across it as a process. A friend of mine had been, and I saw her felt and just thought I have to do that. For me, I think it was that a whole low-tech aspect to the process of making what is a very strong piece of fabric, really just with fluff. And also the accessibility of wool. It seems like a sustainable material, really, and it's all around me, especially living in Wales. I use wool fibre that comes from the UK. I think that's a very important aspect of my work. I love the fact that you can just transform something very loose into something very kind of strong very easily. And with needle felting, which is a different process, it feels like magic. You can just stab wool with a needle and then it becomes hard and you can sculpt with it. As you stab into it, the fibres tangle together. And the more the wool is stabbed, the harder it becomes, and you add layers and you can just build it up. It's similar to clay, I guess, in the way in which you join things together. You can needle felt the elements together and then wet felt it, or you could just have it as a needle felted piece. They are interchangeable. I tend not to mix them with the two-dimensional pieces, but the 3D birds that I make that have a core of wool, which hasn't been needle felted but wrapped, I tend to needle felt all the elements onto that and then wet felt them afterwards, and it just gives them a different finish. There's no air left inside them when they're finished, whereas with needle felting there's always some air, they're lighter. I make quite quirky things, something that will make somebody smile. If somebody can look at it and not work out how it's been put together, I'm happier. There's no joins, there's no marks, no kind of indication at all. They're looking for the sewing joins. None of that is there. So for me, the quality comes from that. I want it to be well made. I want it to be long lasting. I guess, my sense of humour goes in, and my love of colour always goes into pieces. And in the same way that as a printmaker, I think I had my own style, I think I have transferred that into my felt making. A lot of the characteristic or the personality that comes out of what I make is all in the eyes, which is always the last bit that I do, so it's not looking at me while I'm stabbing it. I think it's just that sort of mystical, magical kind of alchemic thing about producing fabric and sculptural pieces with fluff. It's endlessly interesting and there's boundless potential, really.